one of my favorite uniforms in the whole catalog coming out at Kyle Field against Texas A&M. It's powder helmets, white jerseys, white pants. It's going to look absolutely fantastic for an absolutely huge game. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome to this extra edition of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, a special uniform episode. Ole Miss powder helmets, white jerseys, white pants. Just going to be a fantastic look whenever they break them out. Real quick, before we get started, I do want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's the easiest place to spice up your college football season. Basically, it's really easy because you basically pick a player. Let's say Jackson Dart, and say Jackson Dart, is he going to have higher or lower than 220 yards? Is Zach Evans going to have higher or lower 97 yards? That is how you play. And it doesn't just have to be Ole Miss players. It can be whatever team that you want to get from. So sign up for an account. Go to the Underdog website and create an account. And look at the different pick'em options for your team each week. Go there, make your picks just like I do. It's easy to play and available in over 30 states. Just pick between 2 and 5 players across any team, not just Ole Miss, and decide whether or not they'll finish higher or lower. It's one of the easiest fantasy games to play out there, and you can win cold hard cash in a single game. Now, you sign up for promo code Locked On. That's one word, Locked On. And Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Deposit $100, get $100 free. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or find the Underdog Fantasy app in the App Store or Google Play Store. That's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Locked On. One word. Get in on the college football pick'em action today. All right. Thank you very much for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications for whenever we put new videos up, and of course participate in the conversation down below by commenting and upvoting the video. It is really cool. Now, like we said, Ole Miss has a powder helmet, white shirt, white pants, and Texas A&M. This is what it will look like.
Keep the fleet running, keep the jeans coming, what they charging on. Hey, I don't give a but I want 45. Come get some up, Megan, I'm on Tory. 32, 49, CRX is borderline, Channel 4 borderline. You geeking, he only brought 50K, well, how you want to feature? What's your name? Nice to meet you, this a bad one to Mika. Keep the fleet running.
It's just a really good look. I mean, it's a shame that it took until 2019 for that look to exist. You know, whenever they wore them against Missouri, it just looks really good. It's clean. It is absolutely my favorite look that they have at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic. And we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully they can play as good as they look out on Kyle Field Saturday night. But powder helmets, white jerseys, white pants, looks really good, and no complaints from me. Now, this is the 9th different jersey that Ole Miss has worn this year. This has become a thing. It's just become a thing. And because of that, you have to start to think about where we are going forward. Now, I am all about the uniform that we're wearing Saturday night, but what are we wearing against Alabama? What are we wearing against Arkansas? What are we wearing against State? 2 of those are home games. Now, I think against Alabama, we might be seeing the navy blue OGs, the uniforms that we wore in 2014 against the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think that uniform could come out. And for Mississippi State, just the straight OGs are there. So we may have the old school, the uniforms you think of with dealing with Ole Miss football coming out for Alabama and Mississippi State. And you might have a form of the gray pants coming out for Arkansas because they want to have different looking uniforms each time. Now, they could change the helmet up from time to time. I don't know exactly how this would look, but it's one of those things like you're trying to understand what's happening without really knowing the rules. So we'll see how it happens. It doesn't matter what Ole Miss wears in a football game. Ole Miss has the best catalog of uniforms of any team in college football. Oregon wishes they have this color palette and what they were able to do. The uniforms against LSU Saturday was absolutely fantastic. Just phenomenal. Now, that's 2 in a row. South Carolina and LSU, they dropped them. I mean, I don't want to see them again for a while. But we still have 2 of the OGs that have not been used in 2 huge games coming up. I think Lane Kiffin actually is really leaning into this Ole Miss Mississippi State game. For people always talk about he doesn't care about it and everything, and that's why the temperature has dropped down between Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. I think Lane Kiffin cares about this at a higher level than most people do. But he is putting more into that game than the LSU game. I think he's putting more in the Alabama game than the LSU game. And I'm talking about uniform-wise, the games that mean something to him. And that will be available for him in the future. It should be really interesting to see. But this uniform against Texas A&M is one of my favorites. Powder helmets, white shirts, white pants. It's going to look really good. And we get to see how they close this out because essentially all of the white jerseys and all of the white pants looks that Ole Miss has basically been used up. So now we get to see where they go from here. Because if they want a different uniform every game and 3 more to go, that's going to change things up a little bit. It just is. This is going to be a lot of fun. Everybody have fun watching these games. That's what they're for. If you're stressing yourself out about them, you're doing it wrong. Have fun watching the game. Enjoying what's going on. You're watching 18 to 21-year-old kids just run around a field. If you take it too seriously, that's kind of a problem. So enjoy it. Have fun. Because Lord knows I will. So anyway, that is the uniform reveal for this week. I'm going to take the rest of today off and most of Saturday off, and I will be in the seat alone for the postgame show. No guest analyst. It's just going to be me in the chat window and handling your questions. That's how we're going to handle the postgame show tomorrow night. So anyway, tune in for that. Should be a lot of fun. Follow me on Twitter at @TheStephenWillis, and of course, give us a subscription to the YouTube page. We would appreciate it very much. Anyway, see you later.